Today I will give you a simple Apocalyptic Shadow guide. For the first site, Hoolay, we have already discussed. The link to the video for the guide forum is in the description, since he is literally the same as an Apocalyptic Shadow 3.2. Just a copy and paste, nothing has changed. So for him, check out that video. But the second site with Feixiao is different though. And really, the only irritating thing about her is those summons of her, specifically the tail and this wolf. Because here in the action bar, you can see the enemies are highlighted red. The tail and the wolf, when highlighted red, are a big problem. Because if the wolf is highlighted red and he gets a turn, and he will attack all allies, and he has a chance to outrage all allies, which will look something like this. As you can see, the hair has outrage. This means she can only do her basic attack for 2 turns. So basically, if you see this, just make sure you cleanse it ASAP, and if you cannot, just restart. Or if it like causes skill point issues, causing your DPS or sub DPS not being able to cast their skills, which you need, since you need every bit of atomic damage in this Apocalyptic Shadow because they are very tanky. So if it causes for situations like that, just restart. And then we got the wolf. If he is red in the action bar, let's say he is right here, this tail gets a turn. It will attack all allies, but that attack of his will have a chance to reduce the damage of your allies. So it will apply the weaken debuff on you, and that debuff will last like for 2 turns. But just know, if you see this icon on your DPS, so make sure you cleanse that too ASAP. Sure, if my Lucha has it, I don't care, since he's not a DPS. But still, if you're like barely scraping by the damage because you're 1% off, then yes, this weaken debuff will hinder you. So now the question arises then, okay, so if I see a red tail or a red wolf in the action bar and they get a turn, they have a chance to outrage my allies or reduce their damage. So how do we make sure they don't do that attack? Well, for that you just need to weakness break them. If you weakness break them, they won't be glowing red anymore and they will just do a normal AoE attack instead of with this debuff. The same case with the wolf, just weakness break him, then he will go from red to white. That's it. And Feixiao herself can also like apply this debuff on you where you do reduce damage with some of her attacks. But just know, you see this on your DPS, just cleanse it. That's it for you. Yeah, and if Feixiao or this foot do direct attacks, it just does more damage. That's it. Nothing too hindering. By the way though, when you weakness break any enemy, all your allies will have their action advanced. But yeah, but weakness breaking enemies will just happen automatically because that's the whole point of Apocalyptic Shadow, of course. And now we can go to this special mechanic, and that is where you can choose which ally of yours can transform into a wolf. And transforming into this wolf isn't that bad actually in some cases, because if you run a dot team, for example, for which this Apocalyptic Shadow is made, of course, but if you're in a dot team, the nice thing by being transformed into a wolf is that whenever this wolf attacks any enemy, the more dots the enemy has, the more toughness reduction the wolf's attacks will do, which is always appreciated. And it also has a chance to apply bleed on the enemies, so getting those dots will be a bit easier if you don't have a dot team. And this wolf will reduce the toughness of the enemies regardless of their weakness type. Lucky for us. But yeah, all you need to know about this wolf is all his attacks will do this. More dots, more toughness reduction, and has a chance to apply bleed. But his basic attack will also heal your allies. So if you're like almost dying, just basic attack with the wolf and all your allies will heal. But it is preferred to always kill with the wolf because that has more toughness reduction. But it will not heal though, unfortunately. And then the question arises, how do we go out of this wolf state? Well, when this countdown right here becomes reactive 3 and you get +1 stack of this thing at the end of your turn. So after 3 turns, I will get my Ruan Mei back. And if you weakness break the main toughness bar, then you will also go out of the wolf state. And like we said, we can choose which ally of ours gets transformed into a wolf, and it's preferred on allies who have team-wide effects, like a Ruan Mei or a Robin, or maybe an Asta. But still, that effect of Ruan Mei's skill or ult or Robin's ult won't go away, so you don't have to worry about that. But the game will like automatically highlight the ally to transform into a wolf, which is in most cases your Harmony character. Or you can like choose your fastest ally in your team, like your DPS if you have a fast DPS, and then action forward that DPS with Sparkle and Bronya, so these stacks right here immediately fill, so you go out of the state. But it will be then more difficult to get all the points necessary to get all the rewards, but that may be an option. But in most cases, just select your Harmony character. Or better said, choose the ally who does the least amount of consistent attacks. since even if I had no sustaining issues, I would not choose my Lucha, because my Lucha is very fast, has the eagle set on him, and because of Anaxa everyone has imaginary weakness, apart from those two unfortunately. But Lucha really helps me in weakness breaking enemies, so I would not choose him. Royal May, perfect. Her buffs are still up, and now this wolf will reduce more toughness for me. And when you go out of this wolf state, the action of all your allies will also be forwarded, which is always appreciated. And then there is also like the second phase of this fight, where Feixiao herself like is flying in the air. All the same things apply. Just remember to cleanse the weakness debuff on you, and if you can't, just restart if it's on an important ally like your DPS. That's it. It is a very difficult Apocalyptic Shadow this site specifically, but just make sure you tweak your teams a bit to optimize for Apocalyptic Shadow. Because like I said, I have a very fast Lucha with the Eagle set, so that he can do as many basic attacks, as many ults as possible to weakness break the enemies, which is easy now because of Anaxa, who applies weaknesses on the enemies. But not only that, because Lucha is very fast, he generates a lot of skill points for me. This means I can always kill with Anaxa and Herta. I never have to basic attack with any of them. And sure, there are way better teams. You just got to be a bit creative, or you just go for like a dot team and you will be done. And not like a Sampo or Gwennafain team. I mean like a High Silence and Kafka team. Because Sampo and Gwennafain did not work out, too little damage. You need those 5-star characters. Or you just go for a no sustain team and just raw dog this whole site. But you may need to do lots of retries, because character X needs to be attacked by enemy Y at the perfect time, so that he regenerates just enough energy to ult that turn, and this and that. Is just many retries. But just remember this, you can play with Evernight in this Apocalyptic Shadow, because she is expected to release on the 24th of September, and the last day of Apocalyptic Shadow will be on the 28th of September. But if you're like, I'm not sure whether I want to summon for Evernight or not, because I want to know who's going to come in version 3.7, well, a 3.7 drip marketing is to be expected on the 9th of September, so you can make a more educated decision then. But if you're like, I want to know the kits of Tangheng and the Evernight, well, the 3.6 live stream is to be expected on the 12th of September. So then you can also make a more educated decision what to do with your Jades. But also know, Seridra is right around the corner. She will release on the 3rd of September, so she can also help you this Apocalyptic Shadow if you need her. Just know you got 6 weeks of time to clear this Apocalyptic Shadow. Don't stress, no haste, do what you want. What matters is that you have fun. I thank you for paying attention and see you the next time. Bye.